just about a few days out from our illustrious bachelorette season. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. It's bachelorette time, baby. Um, Plus commentary from Claire Hoffman, which is me. And just a reminder to all the folks out there, I rib because I care. So to start out, let's think back, let's kind of move backwards in time to a time that I think we all enjoyed. We had Colton, our virgin bachelor, which I would like to remind everybody is just so brave. He was borderline psychotic in the Fantasy Suites episode and forced someone to keep dating him, even though she was clearly not interested and, in fact, did try to break up with him multiple times. But as far as I can tell from Instagram, they're still together and they are constantly hanging out with Greg Sulkin, who I think we can all remember as the werewolf that Alex dated from Wizards of Waverly Place. And Kaylin tragically was not chosen as the Bachelorette, even though she was very performatively vulnerable and she did seem like she really wanted to be Bachelorette, which unfortunately made her seem very fake. And this has left us with our illustrious and possibly illiterate. Do you like that? A little bit of alliteration. But here we have Hannah Brown. Yes, Brown is what the B stood for. And here she is. She's smiling. She's so cute. Here's what we know about this 24-year-old woman who has resigned herself to never finding love without the help of a television dating show. Healthy. She was born and raised in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. She graduated from Bama in 2017 with a degree in communications, and she was an AKO during her time there. She was Miss Alabama in 2018, but she tragically and very famously lost to Kaylin. She's going to be very awkward. I think we can all remember with disgust her very first date with Colton, in which she truly could not come up with a toast. And so she just said roll tide or whatever. So more of that this season. She will probably be the only Hannah this season, but truly who knows? This show is all about surprises. She is a self-proclaimed beast, and she does love to bring it up and make a lion face. Just kidding. That's, I believe it was Jesse Plemons, who I loved in Game Night, starring Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman, but he was on an episode of Grey's Anatomy that I recently watched. This is the face I was talking about, which is the same amount of horrifying as the other one. So let's dive into the fellas and see which dude that has the potential to be on Dancing with the Stars in 6 months could be Hannah's one true love. To start, we have Brian. Here we have Brian. Nice. He's 30 years old. He's a math teacher from Louisville, Kentucky. He was born on Flag Day, so that's obviously something he's going to want to bring up. He loves sarcasm, which, you guys, is so cool. And in this picture, he's really smizing, so you know he's got what it takes to sell watches on Instagram in a few months, which is what he will be doing. Goodbye, math. Next up we have Cam, often short for Cameron, but who knows. Here he is, kind of in a collarless leather jacket and a v-neck tee. I kind of get shades of Evan. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was a former contestant who was also an erectile dysfunction specialist, which is exciting. He's 30 years old. He's a software salesman from Austin. He's a dance floor king, if you can imagine. He can freestyle rap, but the question that we should all ask ourselves, should he? And I urge you all to answer no. He does smile with no teeth, as I've noted here. I'm not sure it's a choice he should be making, but it's the choice he has made. And I really do think he's ugly. Chasen is up next. Here's Chasen. He's 27. He's a pilot from Ann Arbor, Michigan. He watches The Bachelor, so you know he's gonna come in with some moves, maybe an exciting play night one. He is soft spoken. He's not from the South, so I think he might have a hard time. It really feels like that's what Hannah is looking for. And I think he does have elf ears a little bit. It might be a weird angle, but that's what I think. Connor J is next. He looks like he could be part Asian, which is exciting. Representation matters. He's 28. He's a sales manager from Newport Beach. In his bio, it's like something about like, oh, I'm the guy your dad wants you to be with. So cool. He's been to 40 of the 50 states, and I've provided here a list of the states that I think he has not been to. Mostly arbitrary, but I'm guessing Delaware, Idaho, Indiana, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Nevada, North and South Carolina, and Utah. And I don't know, do you guys think his teeth are weird? There's some like spacing things, like that one is particularly pointy, and I don't know, whatever. Connor S., our second Connor. Here he is. He's 24. He's an investment analyst from Dallas. He was a college swimmer. He included in his bio that he doesn't speak Spanish. And, I mean, it's a bold move to try to define yourself based on things that you are not. But, I don't know, novel approach. Obviously, he loves Justin Bieber. Darren is up next. Cool spelling. Here's Darren. He's 25 and he's an IT analyst from Buckhead, Georgia. My battery's low, so I'm gonna go plug this shit in. He's scared of spiders. He's globally ranked in Guitar Hero, which I can assure you is not something I would have expected him to mention in this current year, which, if you guys remember, is 2019. He does feel comfortable wearing a t-shirt with a coat or jacket like this, as is demonstrated in the photo to the right. Devin is next. Here he is. He's 27, a talent manager from Sherman Oaks. He loves being in love. Cute. I do think there's quite a difference in height of hair on either side of the part, which I think is a little bit spectacular and kind of mystical, even. And he's friends with Wills from Becca's season of Batch. Here's Wills, if you've forgotten. He has kind of green eyes, which is exciting, and he went to UC Davis. Dustin. Here's Dustin, kind of an enthusiastic grin. He's 30. He's a real estate broker from Chicago. He's an English bulldog named Sophia. And he also has what appears to be a titanium nose ring. He's great at Jenga. Cool for Dustin. Dylan is next. Here's Dylan. He's 24. He's a tech entrepreneur from San Diego. He has a boat. Woo! He reports that most of his friends are women, so thank God there are allies like Dylan out here. So grateful for Dylan. I get the feeling that he dyes his hair just by what I have gleaned from his personality, and also I can't tell if it looks like his like stubble is a different color or if it's just lighting. Next up is Garrett. Here's Garrett. He's 27. He's a golf pro from Birmingham. An Alabama boy, which could work to his benefit with our girl Hannah. He loves church and beer, which is kind of what I already said with Alabama boy. He went to Mississippi State. He has nice eyebrows. Grant is next. Here's Grant. He's 30. He's an unemployed fella from San Clemente, California. He describes himself as a real life the dude from Big Lebowski, I think, which is exciting for people who love that movie. He loves PDA, who doesn't? So excited for this guy to be on the show, and he plans to call people out for not being here for the right reasons. So basically, he is really banking on his ability to foster drama in the house, and he's not confident in his ability to make a connection with Hannah. And I would just once again like to remind you guys that he's unemployed and he's excited to admit it. Next up is Hunter. Here we have Hunter. He's 24. He's a pro surfer from Westchester. He lives with his parents. Very brave of him to admit. He loves hosting bachelor watch parties. Cool. His parents probably love that. And I think that maybe the name Hunter will remind Hannah of her southern roots, and maybe that'll help our surfing friend out. Jed is up next. Here's Jed. He's 25, a singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee. He's potentially named after a character from the Beverly Hillbillies, which I think is something we should celebrate. And I think his head is a weird shape, and his eyes, like one that looks a little bit drifty, but I don't know, it could be a bad picture, so I will try to not pass judgment until I've seen the show. Joe is up next. Here's Joe. He is 30 years old, and he's from Chicago and describes himself as the Box King. It's something that I find chilling that he would choose to describe himself that way, but, yeah. He's obviously Italian. He loves Las Vegas. Loves playing craps in Las Vegas. And he loves taking craps in Las Vegas. He didn't mention that last one specifically, but it's probably true. And, I would just like to emphasize that he describes himself as the Box King. And he says, like, oh, my parents have a cardboard box company. But I think he meant it in, like, a innuendo way, which I find disgusting. Joey is next. Here's Joey. He's 33, a finance manager from Bethesda, Maryland. He wants to settle down and have a minivan or whatever. It was like his whole bio is about how he's like, I've experienced life and now I just want to impregnate a girl, or I don't know. He's afraid of heights. And I think his part looks diagonal from here. It could be the angle, but I don't like it. John Paul Jones is next. Yes, John Paul Jones. 3 names. I'm not sure if all 3 of those are like a first name together or if it's his first, middle, and last names. Here he is. I hate him. He's 24 years old, and he has listed his profession as a John Paul Jones, and he's from Lanham, Maryland. And yeah, that's not an occupation, that's a reiteration of his name. He says he only uses words that are 3 syllables in length or longer. And so he's basically like if an Abercrombie and Fitch came to life, and I would like to emphasize that I'm using this metaphor in the year 2019 and not in the year 2007. So that kind of actually does say a little bit more about him. Jonathan is up next. Here's Jonathan. He's 27. He's a server from Los Angeles, which is code for the fact that he's a struggling actor, but I think we should support him anyways. He loves sparklers, which upon first glance I decided was not a personality, like an indicator of his personality, but then again, like thinking about the fact that he chose to include that, it makes me think that maybe it is indicative of who he is as a person. I do like to imagine him kind of in an audition, and the director, the casting director or whatever, says like, I don't know, really put some emotion into it, and so he just like imagines a sparkler going out, and then like his eyes start welling up. And I'm probably overthinking it, but I did look at his face and think it looked a little bit smushed, so I've included a picture of what I think he has potential to look like. It's just a little squished, and I don't know. It might look worse or better. Kevin is up next. If you'll notice, we have had a Joe and a Kevin. Kind of a Jonas Brothers thing going. He's 27. He's a behavioral health specialist from Manteno, Illinois. His job is to help vets deal with trauma. And I don't know if that sounds like... To me, it sounds like a character that will be, like, on Grey's Anatomy or something. Like, probably next season as, like, a love interest to Amelia. He loves pumping iron. Cool. He says his relationships haven't worked in the past because he loves too hard. But I actually do think it's more to do with that his eyes look like they have eyeliner on them. But that's not for me to say. Luke P is up next. Here he is. Kind of a fun collar going on. He's 24. He's an import-export manager from Gainesville, Georgia, and I think that sounds like a fake job, like, oh, I'm an import-export. He had a religious awakening in college, so he now chooses to date to marry, so he's very serious and religious. He loves Tim Tebow and is afraid of farting, which I think covers it all. Luke S is next. Two Lukes. Here is Luke. He's 29. He's a political consultant from Washington, D.C. I think he could go either way with the party, Democrat, Republican. I think either way, I'm not rooting for him. He's a tequila expert. And he also wanted to share that he once hit on Emily Ratajkowski and made her blush, which not only feels fabricated, but feels like super indulgent for him to have said that, but yeah. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Cowabunga, am I right, ladies? That gel work? Something else. Matt Donald is 25. He's a medical device salesman from Los Gatos, California. His parents are deaf, so he knows sign language, and he's probably gonna foray that into some sort of like gross joke about like, oh, I can talk with my hands. He loves Alabama football. Pandering. Mateo is next. Here's Mateo. He's 25. He's a management consultant from Atlanta. He once chugged a gallon of milk in 10 seconds. He has a virtual reality startup. Oh, and he's also a sperm donor who has fathered 114 children. Buried the lead much? I do love this about him, and I hope it's kind of delved into a lot on the show. I think it'll be very interesting to hear Hannah's take on it, and maybe some nice, like, jokes into a commercial break from Chris Harrison. I think that'll be very lovely. Ooh, what would be really exciting is, like, if, like, on a date, one of his, like, 114 children, like, showed up and was like, you should definitely date him. I have great DNA. Matthew. Here's Matthew. He's 23, a youngo. He's a car bid spotter from Newport Beach, which means he's an auctioneer. That was my impression of him probably in the first episode. He has a 3-year-old sister, which is exciting. His family owns a winery. Ooh. And he's never left the country. Same. Mike is up next. Here's Mike. He's 31. He's a portfolio manager from San Antonio, Texas. He's an Air Force veteran. He loves trampoline parks and Krav Maga. And he, quote, really wants to learn parkour, which is cool for him. Peter is up next. Here's Peter. He's 27. He's a pilot from Westlake Village, California. I believe he's the second pilot we have so far. He's a pilot dad and a flight attendant mom, so it's like in his genes, and he probably was like featured in some sort of like Lifetime movie, because that seems like the plot that they would have. He line dances for fun, which I thought people just did like as an obligation when their PE teacher makes them, but who knows. And he's also a citizen of the world who still lives at home. And I didn't know if that meant that he like lives with his parents, or that like he like lives in the world but he like finds his home. But we'll find out, hopefully. Ryan is next. Here's Ryan. He's 25, a roller boy from Philadelphia. Not sure what that means, but he's also a data analyst to improve healthcare for women. Thank God, am I right, ladies? Another ally. I love. He's freaked out by birds. Same. He was a high school valedictorian. But he didn't include his SAT scores, which surprised me considering he was willing to share his valedictory status, which felt stupid to me. Like, okay, I'm impressed. Scott is up next. Here's Scott. He's 28. He's a software sales executive from Chicago. He admires Kris Jenner. Cool for him. He says he's good at schmoozing waitresses, which feels like a red flag to me, but not my call. And I'm also going to include a portion right here from his ABC bio without typing it, because I'm not exactly comfortable writing the words, but I think we should all read them. Just for fun, Scott once ran in a circle around the mall food court acting like a flying chicken. A lot going on here. Um, I'm going to leave it here. Leave that for you to digest in your own time. Next is Thomas. Here's Thomas. He's 27, an international pro basketball player from Detroit, which means he's not good enough to play pro domestically. He loves EDM, which is very exciting for him, I would assume. His family has never met a girlfriend of his, and I don't know if that's like a function of him having had international girlfriends, and so they just like never met because of distance, or if he has some sort of more deep-seated emotional issues, but I hope they'll get into that. Next is Tyler C. Here he is. He's 26. He's a general contractor from Jupiter, Florida. He has a rescue dog named Harley. He's waiting for love to smack him in the face, which I love. He was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, but never played due to a shoulder injury. And he kind of looks like he's not really like meeting the eye line of the camera. Could be something related to his football background, like some sort of brain thing. But I don't know, I think he looks nice. It's an exciting like jacket eye combination. I like it. Here's Tyler G. He's 28. He's a psychology grad student from Boca Raton, Florida. He follows the keto diet, so I'm really hoping he'll elaborate on that kind of on the show throughout the season. That'll be kind of a through line of his person, is just like talking a lot about being keto and what that entails. He goes to Soul Cycle. He has a beefy face, which is something that I have decided about him. And he wants his PhD. He has a side business in dream analysis. So it'll probably be like, I had a dream that we would end up together. And that's it. If you guys are down, we'll base the draft order based on the points from the last draft, which, as you'll recall, Kendall was in first place because she cheated. So please don't do that again. And if you already have, then I hate you. And then it was Emily, and then it was me. So, and we can do kind of like a straightforward draft like we did last time, or a serpentine draft where like we go like first pick, second pick, third pick, and then like the fourth pick goes to the person who just picked third, and then like second, and then first, and then first again, and then second, and then third again, and second, and then first. But anyways, that's all. So enjoy.